With Chris Hughes, owner of the Track Shack, and now manages it. I actually went to high school with him back in the day. Again, I'm Zachary Toohey with eXp Realty, and this is Chris Hughes. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about the story of what you got going on here?
Well, first of all, technically, I'm the general manager, operations director. Shout out to my parents are still the owners.
Sorry, Mrs. Hughes. Sorry about that. I don't mean to downside you.
No, but all good. But obviously, we've been here 43 years. It'll be 44 in August of 2021. And, we're here to service really any footwear needs people have, which sounds kind of broad, but people think, they see the building, right? There's runners painted on it. You think, oh, I don't run, I don't need to go there. But we get medical referrals. If you've got foot pain, people come in for that. Just general comfort in shoes for whatever activities you're doing, be it lifting weights. We obviously specialize in running, but gym stuff, walking, just being comfortable at a long shift at work. That's the primary thing we do here in the store. And then we have our event company. You've probably seen our 5Ks. You may have had, unfortunately, your driveway blocked in by a race course that's gone through your neighborhood.
Okay.
That does happen to some
once
folks.
or twice.
But and then also our youth foundation, and that's kind of the three branches of what we do as a company.
I didn't know that you guys had the whole foot, diagnosing the foot and thing. I just thought you guys supply shoes for runners and marathons and things like that. So I didn't know that.
And it's both, right? Like we are providing shoes for people doing those types of events. But what makes us unique, the reason we've been here 43 going on 44 years now, is that we take that time. We have a very rigid training process, the evaluation process. We put again, I wouldn't even just say runner, each runner, walker, whatever it is you need the shoes for, we're looking at everything from your knees, your ankles, any inefficiencies that might be going on with your feet, and finding shoes that match up to that to kind of balance things out and get you as comfortable as possible for whatever activities you're doing, and if you are running, landing as efficiently and smooth as possible to kind of reduce stress to the body.
And I think that's one of the big things with a local store like you guys, that you tailor it to each person. It's not like one of these major chains where, we're just a shoe store. I'm not going to say we don't care about you, but we're not going to tailor our each individual shoe to each person.
Sure.
or whatever the case
may
may be.
I think everybody has been to a mall sporting goods store. I'm not gonna call people out by name, but
please don't.
You show up and you ask for a shoe and a size, and they go in the back and they give it to you and try it on, and that's okay, because that's what those stores are there for. That's their job. But what's kept us around when you have major chains like that, when you have the Amazons of the world that can send you shoes 2 days later, why is an independent shoe retailer still doing so well here in 2021? Is because we do customize everything to the individual, and we have a really well-trained staff, a really good staff that cares about people, and we treat each customer one at a time. And sometimes that means a little bit of a wait. And I try to tell my staff that every morning, that if we have a line, it's a good thing. You don't want people to be antsy.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. But you get on edge because you don't want people to walk away. You don't want them to be upset by the wait. And COVID's affected that too, right?
Definitely.
We've had really strict capacities. We keep our spacing 6 feet apart within the store, so we do have limits, and we'll have people wait outside to come in and to get that one-on-one service. But what I try to preach to my team is that if you take care of each individual that you're working with and you give them that experience that we strive for, and the people that are waiting in line, they see a satisfied customer go into the counter. And so they realize that it's worth the wait. And that's our goal. That's the culture. We try to keep going. But it's absolutely one-on-one. It's worth the wait, because we're going to take a look at everything going on with you, and it might even go beyond shoes. We might be able to show you some stretches or exercises to help with a nagging injury that you have, and we're going to individualize it to every person that comes in the door.
Nice. Speaking of doors, with COVID happening almost a year ago now, were you guys open the whole time, or were you?
7 weeks we were shut down.
Okay.
And we actually made an internal decision.
I remember seeing that actually on.
It was really difficult. This was about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before the county, shut down most of retail, indoor dining, and all that. But it was kind of a family conference, powwow, just figuring out, because everything was so unknown then. And our events being centered around exercise, around running, around walking, the health of the community has always been our forefront priority. And so we felt if we didn't know that we might be spreading something that could be harmful to people, we didn't want to take that risk.
Right.
And as more science came out and we understood that we could space the seating out, we could wear masks, and our local ordinance allowed us to be open, we launched an online store while we were shut down. We found ways to reach out and to serve our community and our customers without having our doors open. But as soon as we were able to, we've just had what we feel are very safe, very strict policies to provide the individualized, service we always have, and to do so in a manner that's still very safe in regards to COVID protocols.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I see like the seats being 6 feet apart and things like that. So I obviously you guys are taking all the right steps. I know you guys do the like the major events and stuff where you had large groups of people. Did that affect things with?
I mean, 100%, right?
Yeah,
Stores
were those still going on or through COVID?
Not well. COVID's still going on, right?
Yeah.
And we just put on our 4th event. So in the sense of through COVID, yes, we are now doing them. While we're still dealing with just the spread and seeing high cases. But we just started to again. So retail was one thing, right? And that was the 7-week shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
On events, it was we put on the Winter Park Road Race. It was the first weekend of March of 2020. And the following weekend basically was when everything shut down. So from that second week of March through December, we didn't put on an event. And there was a large number of events that
canceled.
Essentially had to get canceled. Our event team has been incredibly adaptive, creative, and they converted them to virtual options. And so the participation was lower, but people still wanted to support, us as a business, and also they wanted to get out and run and have a reason. And we found ways. We started working with an app that would track people while they ran virtually, and actually linked digitally to the map of the race course you were on. So you would get updates that, like, if you were running the physical race, you're going by this landmark or that. Cool. Yeah, the same app could score people, by gender and age group the same way that we would with our chip timing systems in person. And all of that was sort of while we waited for municipalities to give us permits again. And we weren't going to try to host races if we didn't think it could be done safely. We leaned on countries that had reopened and done it before. Japan was one that's hosted a lot of road races since COVID, and they had only tracked over like a year of being open for events again, one like identifiable case that they could prove maybe came from that road race and that event. So it's the same thing we've done in the store. It's a strict mask policy. We don't herd 2,000 people together at the start.
I hope not.
And part of even getting the permits, right, has been changes in capacity. So a race that was maybe 3,500 people a year ago is 1,000 now.
Okay.
But of those 1,000 people, we space them out by their pace, like what they're going to run per mile, and it's groups of 100 to 200. We have literal physical, the same way our seats are 6 feet apart in the store, there's physical markers to keep these folks 6 feet apart in the starting corral. Yeah, and you wear a mask while you're in that holding area, and then once they get out on the course, there's ample space to stay distance. You take your mask off. It's hard to run with a mask.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Yes. Social distancing and protocol is one thing, but running a marathon with a mask on is going to be pretty.
Yeah, and we're not going to ask anyone to do that. That would be crazy. But it's these are people that are making healthy, active lifestyle choices, which is something that I think in the time of the pandemic maybe isn't talked about enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's one thing being in quarantine, but I mean, like, you can't exercise and stuff. I mean, you got to be able to get out and run and do stuff.
Right, and being in the sun, exercising, that's actually good for your immune system. And obviously more and more research has come out about open air being, less transmittable, more safe, especially when you add in heat, when you add in humidity. And in Florida is a unique cocktail of both, to where our...
Got plenty of that.
Yeah, we're in an environment where we think you probably can race safer than other areas. But again, all credit to our events team, and that's something I'm not as hands-on with, but they found a way to first convert to fully virtual when we had to, and then from there, find a way to host the races in person again and do them safely in spite of things kind of still being ongoing. So it's been crazy. It's been a wild year, but very, very impressive what they've done.
For most people.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Of course.
So as you guys are running, I'm sure you encounter many places in Orlando that, whether it's you or whether it's somebody else, maybe a customer you guys, that they love. Can you name me a few of the places that you love? Obviously, Lake Eola is a big one. Some of your places
where I like to run.
Yeah, I like to run, or like, can you recommend some spots that people might not know about, whether it's a trail or that are good running places?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I live in College Park, so just running around Lake Ivanhoe is great.
Yeah.
That's a good spot, and you always see people out there active and exercising. That's actually one of my favorite things from the brief period we were shut down when I was working from home. Is every day that I would go for an afternoon run, I saw families walking together, people on their bikes, just people out exercising in numbers you wouldn't normally see. And that was really cool. But Ivanhoe's a good spot. Anywhere in Winter Park, Park Avenue, and that surrounding area is really pretty to run. But if you want to go more off the beaten path, Wekiva Springs is great. If you want to get off-road, there's like 30 miles of trail you can run out there.
Nice. And plus they got like the river.
They have the spring. Yeah, so if you finish and your muscles are sore, you jump in, you cool off. And then this is kind of sad, but the Claremont Clay Loop, there's a 10-mile trail loop through Claremont. It's clay rolling hills, and there's actually elite athletes from around the country that go there to train because it's so kind of historic, and it's going to start getting developed soon. So it's on its way out. So which is no, for real, it's a really big bummer in the endurance sport community, big time triathletes and stuff. But if you've never run the Claremont 10-mile loop, get out there and check that out for sure.
Oh, okay, I've never even heard of that one, so that'd be good for me to check. Not that I'm training for any kind of major marathons or anything.
Since we were a couple years ago, though.
I was trying.
That's fair.
I was trying to become a pro athlete.
And you don't have to run the whole 10 miles, right?
Okay,
you can go out 2 miles and come back.
Definitely. Okay, so unless there's any, let me ask you this: as far as being in business for 43 years, is there any, like, some people struggle with waking up and finding a reason to go into work?
Sure.
I'm sure that's not the case because you've been doing it for almost your whole life. So what are some of have you gotten any advice from any key people that have mentors or key people in your life that have given you some good, whether it's business encouragement, whether it's motivation encouragement, any kind of, or do you recommend something to any fellow entrepreneurs out there?
I mean, find something you love is so cliche, but it's so true, right? And like, I'm exceptionally lucky that I got born into something that I love. And so my primary mentors were my parents, and their passion for this was contagious, and I caught it and wanted to do it. My sister teaches middle school Latin, so there was no guarantee that either of us would end up doing this, right? It just happened for me. But yeah, man, you have to enjoy what you do, and it's not like there's days that aren't stressful, especially with everything that happened last year. But if the industry you're in, or the entity, the business itself, the people that you're surrounded with there matter to you, then you're not going to care when that alarm goes off in the morning. You're going to be ready to start another day. You might know that it's going to be a grind, but it's going to be worth it, and you feel content at the end of the day. So don't get mulled down in something that just feels tedious and that you hate it. Make sure what you do is rewarding. My dad is definitely the primary influence there. Another person, though, who does what they love that I would shout out that you're going to know the name is our old middle school coach, Ryan Lowe. He's still a good personal friend of mine.
Yes.
So he coached us in middle school at Howard, but then he became the cross-country coach at Edgewater when I was there.
Nice.
And so we reconnected then in high school and voiced it, but it's a guy who just loves coaching kids, loves teaching, has some advanced degrees where he can do anything in the world, but he just follows his heart and lives a contented life. So those are the kind of lifestyle images you want to follow.
Shout out to you, Coach
Lowe.
Shout
out Coach Lowe.
It's been a while. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. Unless you got anything else, that sums it up for me. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
For sure.
I'm Zach Toohey, realtor with eXp Realty, and here's Chris Hughes, manager of the Track Shack. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.